Good morning. We're live, and I already have a few people lined up waiting for me. It is 10 after 8 on June 3rd. Is it the 3rd? Wednesday, and we're here for 60 minutes of 26 postures, the Bikram series. If you missed my last live stream 2 days ago on Monday, I made a bumbling but heartfelt statement about practicing right now during this time of much needed protest for change. So if you missed that statement, it's weird for me to even call it a statement because it was more of a, like I said, a bumbling thing to say, but to address it. Please check in on Monday's stream. Welcome here for Wednesday. I believe that all of us, there's no harm done in being mindful about our breath and our bodies and our movement. And I think that yoga and that practice can help us stay grounded in what is a time of necessary turmoil and disruption. So thank you for joining me this morning. I'm happy to be here myself and continuing with my practice. Let's get started. Good morning, Carmen. I see you saying good morning, and maybe Erin's on too, I'm not sure. So yeah, let's get started. Make sure you've got water and your mat, and I've pulled my blocks up because I think I'm gonna need to use those today as we get warmed up and loose and limber. Okay, let's get started. Maybe take some deep drinks here, some nice thorough drinks of water, because we aren't going to get any more for a little bit, or at least for the next 4 poses. I'm also going to adjust the camera a little. Okay, I think that should work. Great. So posture 1 in the series of 26, pranayama, standing deep breathing. Look down at your feet and give them a thank you for the work that they do all day, supporting that body of yours. Spread the toes nice and wide, wake them up, give them some wiggle, and spread them as much as you can. Rock back and forth just a bit between the balls of your feet and your heels, and come to a comfortable position with the weight mainly stacked up over your heels, just a little on the balls of the feet, and hardly any weight right now on the toes. And we're going to start with the feet and just check in with the rest of the body. So if you bend the knees just slightly, you'll feel your Achilles at the top back of your heels. You'll feel a little stretch in there, one leg at a time or both. And then check in with your hips. Pedal the legs out one at a time and just hinge at that hip crease. Your hips are ultimately going to be resting over your heels. We want the majority of the weight in our bodies and standing deep breathing to be over the heels. So butt over the heels, hips more over the heels, belly turned on, pulled in and turned on. Feel those ribs come in, floating ribs, bring them in. And at the same time, lengthen by lifting the chest and broadening the chest. Roll the shoulders back. You know that you've got a nice shoulder position with the weight distributed towards the back body if your thumbs or palms are facing the front, as opposed to a hunched position when the back of your hands are at the front. So let's get palms facing front, shoulders open, belly in, and finally just check with that chin tuck. We don't want it tipped up. We don't want to create more of a crunch in the back of our neck. So keep the chin neutral and slightly pointed down even. And as you do that, the weight in the back of your head will be lined over those shoulder blades, hips, all over the heels. So standing position, Let's just take a moment with some breathing and no movement here. So you can even close your eyes for a minute and just find the rhythm of your own breath. And as soon as you start to notice it, it may be a little easier to make a deeper breath that goes down and travels further down the lungs and maybe even more into the core instead of holding that kind of shallow breath at the top of your chest. So just notice that breath. As soon as we draw awareness to it, we can go deeper. And right here, let's exhale together. Wherever you are, just exhale all that air out. Inhale through the nose for a nice long count of 6. Open mouth, exhale. Count of 6. Interlace the fingers together and just tuck them under your chin, nice and gently. Keep that deep breathing, count of 6. Blink open your eyes a bit. Just keep it all very gentle and soft. With elbows pointed down to the floor and knuckles tucked under your chin, just feel where your thumbs are resting against your neck. Keep that nice alignment, weight over the heels, belly pulled in, shoulders down and back, and then we'll exhale here to prepare. Inhale, elbows start to lift up towards the ceiling. Palms stay neutral under the chin. And exhale, push the chin back, gently look up towards the ceiling as elbows come and wrap around to the front. Inhale, chin drops, elbows up. Lift out of the waist, keep that belly in and strong. Exhale, chin back, not a back bend though. Keep the spine straight. Flex the butt there for a second. Flex your booty, feel it activate. Make sure it's turning on. Inhale. Exhale, chin back, look at the ceiling. Elbows come around the front. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Nice and slow, steady movement. We're in no hurry here. Exhale. Push the air out, open mouth, push it out through your mouth. Squeeze the glutes as you bring those elbows around to the front and inhale. Keep the shoulders soft even as elbows come up towards the ceiling. Exhale. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. Lift out of the waist, open up the armpits. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Change. Let your hands fall open. Just take 1 breath here in stillness. And on your next inhale, bring arms overhead, bend the knees just a bit, and begin a warm up through a side body stretch. We're preparing for half moon. We're going to do side body stretch. And we'll go back and forth a bit for a back bend and a hip hinge forward for a forward fold. So just make really light movements, checking in before we go into those deeper postures. It's 4 parts to this half moon pose. Okay, let's meet with hands overhead. Bring your hands into a steeple grip by releasing the index fingers. Maybe check in to see if you want to take the opposite grip that you normally do. Shoulders, roll them up towards your ears and then slide them down your back, your shoulder blades down your back, shoulders away from the ears, even as biceps are strong, and that may cause a bit of a bend in the elbows, which is fine. If you hyperextend at the elbows. It'll bring your shoulders up high to your ears. So just let the shoulders fall back. Slight bend in the elbows, but biceps are strong and fingers are gripping. Inhale out of the waist, bring those fingers up to the ceiling, point to the ceiling nice and high, straight up. Exhale, shoot the hips to the left as the upper body falls to the right. No need to push it right away here or take it into a deep bend because we're going to hold this. So just breathe here. Look gently just straight in front of you with a steady gaze, and then make sure those hips and armpits are square to the front. And that may mean you need to bring up that left arm over just a bit. Biceps are still framing the face. And if you need a bit of a back off, because this is a tremendous stretch in the left side body above the hip, just back off a little, straighten on an inhale, and then exhale, deeper fold. And just work that inhale and exhale. But nice stretch the whole time on that left side body. And on the right side body, even as you're bending over, think of keeping a lift and some air in the spine and a lift so that you don't crunch the spine over too hard on one side towards the right. Last check, maybe pedal out your legs. Just notice how it feels and where the weight is distributed, and change. Inhale, come up. We're going to find that neutral position. Fingers point towards the ceiling. Biceps frame the face. Nice, straight and long. Exhale, push the right side. The hips to the right. And biceps frame the face as you fold to the left. Again, no need to shoot into this too quickly. You'll feel that nice deep stretch on the right side above the hips. Keep a lift on the left even as you fold over. Hips, shoulders square to the front. If you need to take the right arm, open it up a bit at the armpit to make sure shoulders are square. That's helpful. Pedal out the legs here. And change. Inhale, come up to center. Find your length. Lift the chest. Relax the shoulders away from the ears and start to look up towards the ceiling with a lifted chest. This can be the extent of your back bend right here. Even come down and just stand straight if you need to, especially if you worry about any sort of spine issues in the upper spine behind the neck, cervical or thoracic spine. Just keep your elbows by your ears and look up as much as comfortable with the chest lifted. To continue pushing into the back bend, you can squeeze the glutes and push the hips towards the front of the room. Eyes lift towards the ceiling, hips to the front of the room. Keep a lift, some air, some oxygen in your spine as you bend back and fall back towards the back wall or whatever's behind you. Change, come on up, stand straight up, pull that belly in nice and strong, bend the knees as you come down to a halfway point to lower down into a forward fold, arms strong, and if you can keep this halfway point with a straight spine, you can begin to relax the arms. This is where I'm going to grab my blocks. I'm right now at a kind of halfway lift, halfway forward fold, straight spine. I'm going to rest my hands on the blocks. And now just bend one knee at a time as you walk your hips side to side, loosen up the hips. And just prepare. We're going to bind and hold this forward fold, but we're just warming up right now. We don't want to jump right into it. We've just asked our spine to stretch in every direction. Now we're headed into the last one. Okay, if you're comfortable and warmed up, bend the knees as much as you need. Press the belly on the knees, or press the belly on the upper thighs, and really glue that belly to the upper thighs, which will help create a tilt in your hips and your pelvis and bring the hips up towards the ceiling. Head and neck can fall and rest comfortably as long as your belly's resting on thighs. Hands can stay on the blocks on the ground in front of you, or you can wrap them around the back of your legs to create a bind and something to grip onto with your hands as you let your head and neck hang, hips lift towards the ceiling. So again, we want comfortable positions. Don't push it too much to start because we hold this for a few rounds of breath. As you inhale, think of inhaling hips high and exhaling, letting gravity pull your head down towards the earth. If you've had your legs bent to glue your belly on thighs and you can start to straighten them just a little, go for it. And change, bring your arms around so that they wrap and frame your face once more in that halfway lift, and then use your core strength to bring you all the way up. Inhale, arms up, exhale, everything down. Take a round of breath and Samastitihi here. Okay, let's move into awkward pose. 3 parts to this one. Inhale, arms up. Bring all your fingers together to make sort of blade with your hands. Step your feet 6 inches apart. Keep your belly in strong, chest lifted, and shoulders relaxed. And then sit back in your chair. Push your booty back like you're sitting in a chair, but with enough energy coming through your fingertips that that opposite force helps you from falling back. The thing that helps you going back from falling backwards is that energy pulling you towards the front. Now pull the belly in, sit back a little deeper, lift your toes, wiggle your toes a bit so that your weight isn't on them and your heels should not be peeking past your toes, or your knees. Excuse me, your knees should not peek past your toes. So if you need to look down at them, make sure that weight is on your heels and change. Inhale, come all the way up onto tiptoes. Stand nice and tall here, like you're a ballerina, high on your toes, heels lifted, and stay right here and hold this balance. Gaze straight ahead and just focus on one spot in front of you. If you want to keep moving, we're going to bend at the knees and sit back in that chair again while we're high on the heels. Keep the heels as high as you can, balancing between the balls of your feet and your toes, heels lifted as you sit back. And this is a balance check for everyone. Every day is different. The more you sink down, the more you need to concentrate on lifting those heels. Okay, change. Inhale everything up and then let the heels come down as arms are still strong. With our feet still 6 inches apart, lift the heels about 1 inch off the mat, bring the knees together, zip up that space between knees and inner thighs, and then slide straight down like you're sliding down the back wall. Belly is strong and pulled in, slide down that wall, turn on your inner thighs towards one another. Activate, squeeze them together, sink down a little deeper, and change. Inhale, everything lifts, and then exhale, everything releases. Take a breath and Samastitihi. Okay, moving into eagle. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, right arm under left. Hold right here with your arms in the self-hug, or begin to wrap them around one another like ropes, crossing first at the elbows and then the forearms, the wrists, fingertips, everything pulled in towards the center line of your body. So think of bringing your elbows down to your belly button and in, pulled into center. Sit back in your chair and make sure that left foot is nice and strong, planted on the ground. Strong standing left leg. As you inhale, your right knee up. Bring it up also towards your midsection. Maybe you can touch your knee to your elbows if you want. Just bring it up as high as you can get it before you cross it over the left leg. We want hips to remain square, shoulders square, everything pulling into a center line. Elbows and knees, center line to the belly button. If you can continue to wrap your toes around your back left calf, go for that full wrap. But if it causes your knees or hips to shift to one side or the other, or a tilt, back off of it and you can drop your toes for a kickstand. Just be in one line, everything pulled to the middle here. Squeeze it all in and sit back and then change. Let it go. Walk those feet out a bit. Bring the hands up. Exhale, bring left arm under right. Again, to begin eagle here, you can keep your arms wrapped around one another in this hug, or begin to wrap those arms like ropes. Elbows, forearms, wrists, fingers. I like to stretch out my shoulders a bit by lifting the elbows, but in a Bikram eagle, we end up bringing it back down, elbows towards navel, and all down one center line. Squeeze it down the middle, sit back in your chair, and find a strong foundation in that right foot as you lift the left knee high. Perhaps touch it to elbows, and then wrap. Left leg over right. Drop the left toes if you need to. It can help to get centered and lower, and then try to continue wrapping those toes. But if it causes your knees to go to the right, pull them back to the middle. We want knees, hips, elbows, shoulders all in one straight line. Pull in the energy, sit back, pull in the energy to the middle, and change. Let it go. Walk the legs out, arms up, arms down, and it's party time. You can take a drink of water now. Get loose and crazy by having some water before we head into the next posture. Okay, let's head into standing head to knee. So, nice strong standing position, that same position we started at the beginning in Tadasana. Plant the left foot, spread those toes, give yourself a head start with a strong foundation in the left foot, and inhale, right knee up to the line of your hip crease so that your knee and hip are all in one line. Stand right here, palms face forward. You can flex the foot, wiggle it around, do some foot circles on the right side. Practice standing just with one leg lifted like this. Great core exercise. If you want to keep moving for some more stretch, inhale out of the waist. Exhale, begin to fold over that right hip crease and let your lower body meet your leg. Don't worry about bringing the knee up past that hip level. Your lower body needs to reach your leg. And if you aren't there, just stand on that leg, on that left leg. Otherwise, lower body meets the leg. Take a grip here along your calf, ankle, or foot. I'm taking a basket weave grip underneath my foot. Left leg is strong. I'm going to stay right here and just stretch out my lower back by really consciously pulling my belly button in towards my spine and cradle that foot. If you like to take the foot straight out, go ahead and lift and kick your right foot out like your heel is sliding across the table in front of you. I'm not going there today. I'm just staying right here. Pull the belly in and change. Wherever you are, come out of it. I need to walk out a bit on the feet. That asks a lot of the left foot. Now we're going to ask a lot of the right. By spreading those toes on the right foot, creating a strong foundation. Left knee lifts. And find a really nice strong foundation right here. Feel that knee. Check that it is in line with the hip. I bring my knee out to show you in the screen. You don't need to do that. But just make sure that knee's in line with the hip and that you maybe wiggle out the ankle in circles in both directions. Strong standing leg. You want to take it further past that balance. Inhale, find some length, and as you exhale, pull the belly in towards the spine. It creates some space for you to fold over that lifted left leg and find your grip, either along the leg itself down to the ankle, or if you've got the foot, you can do a basket weave grip with your hands. So again, on this side, I'm going to stay right here. Work on balance, shoulders away from the ears, and just think of really pulling belly button to spine. If you take it further, you can lift about 2 inches and then slide that heel out in front of you, like you're sliding it across the table. I'm not going there today. I'm just pulling that belly in and change wherever you are. Find your way out of that. Take a breath. Bring the energy down between each posture, which prepares us to head into the next posture with a completely open mind and heart. So let's move into standing bow or dancer. I'm turning to the side here. You can face front still or come to the side with me if you want. Let's bring the right arm out, palm out, belly strong, and I'm gonna just turn on the glute because that is really an important part of this posture, both for strengthening and stabilizing. So with my right palm out, I'm gonna put my right leg behind me, turn on the glute, and then swing the opposite way. And this just kind of lubricates the hips as we prepare to bend that knee behind us and bring the foot up, receive the foot in the hand. So again, as soon as you start to bring that foot behind you to begin this posture, you hopefully shall be feeling your glutes turn on. Check in with that before you let yourself get too bendy and flexible moving into dancer. Make sure your glutes turned on. So with glute activated, kick into that back hand, left arm comes up, and the kick, and lift towards the ceiling, brings the upper body down. Find your dancer. If you wiggle, wobble out of it, you may need to back off a bit. Find a place where you can hold comfortably in some stillness. And change. Go ahead and, with control, come out of that, as much control as you can muster, because that is not a very pretty posture sometimes if you're falling out of it. And we'll turn to the other side. So now we're standing on the right side. I'm going to turn the left palm out and bring my left leg behind me to prepare, which, remember, check in if you need to. Hit your own left butt cheek there and say, turn on. Make sure it's going with that leg behind you. And then if you need to take a few swings, bringing me up and back. Up, the glutes off, back, glute is fired. Do that to prepare if you're like me and kind of need a warming up of the hips before you catch your left foot in your left hand. I'm holding on to my core here, onto my belly, to remind myself to bring it in. Strong core, activated glute on the left side. Then I bring the right hand up and begin to kick left foot into left hand. Open up at the shoulder. Glute is turned on. And find your dancer on this side. Kicking into your hand, turning the glute on, letting that kick and lift bring the upper body down. Focus on one spot in front of you. Back off as needed, and then try it again. And change. Go ahead and come out of it. Bring the hand down. Find your Samasthiti. Standing posture in Tadasana. Tadasana is the standing posture. Samasthiti is the stillness and concentration of some breath. And then we head to the back of the mat for balancing stick. So come to the back of your mat so that you're able to use the length in front of you. Inhale, arms overhead into that steeple grip again. As soon as you bring the arms overhead, it creates a slight back bend and can cause you to stick your belly out if you're not being conscious of bringing the belly in. So just be aware of that. Steeple grip with the hands. Step on the left foot. Come up to the toes of your right. And keeping everything square to the mat, your gaze is straight ahead, and then it begins to shift down as you bring the back leg up. If you want to stay right here balanced on your toes and just concentrate on being a straight line from fingertips to toes, do that, and just remember to pull the belly in and turn on the glutes as you lift that back heel. So find your balancing stick. Lift that back heel and stretch forward with the hands and then come on out of it. Change. Bring both feet to the back of the mat. I'm sorry, I brought my arms down. We want to leave them up, create some arm strength just to have them up and engaged. Now we'll step forward with the right foot. Again, I'm constantly reminding myself to bring my belly in. Don't let the ribs and belly pop out. Bring it in. Arms are strong. Come up onto the left toes. And you can stay right here, thinking of belly in and in line of energy from fingertips to your lifted toes. Or if you'd like to work more on balance, begin to lift that back heel. Glutes are turned on, back heel lifts. Stretch out between fingertips and toes. Find your balancing stick. And change. Bring everything to the back of the mat. Exhale, arms down. Here's a great time to take a drink of water. Okay, come to the front of the mat now for standing separate leg stretching. So feet together, front of the mat, stand in Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, step the feet out, leg length apart. Like to come to the center of my mat here. My blocks are already set up from our previous forward fold with legs together. So with legs apart here, know which joints you need to loosen up and warm up. I know mine are hips and knees, so I bend the knees and rock them side to side. Found some pops already happening. So just figure that out for yourself. Ultimately, land with feet parallel from one another. Legs spread as comfortably as works for you. Arms up to a T. And then with a slight micro bend in the knees, swan dive, leading with your chest over your legs. Spine is straight, chest is lifted. And if you've got that halfway point like we did before, you can grab blocks. Bend to the knees here in the halfway point. If you don't have blocks, that halfway point, you can let your hands rest on your calves here and bend the knees. Walk that out. If you can keep spine still straight, chest headed to the floor, bend the knees as much as you need for spine straight. Begin to come all the way down. Let your head and neck go last. For that full fold, letting your hands rest on the floor in front of you with your gaze on the floor in front of you, or if you'd like to take a bind and have something to grip onto to help you fold even further, take your hands down your legs, bring them around the back of your calves or your feet, and just grip onto something and pull your chest and head and neck down towards the earth as you also lift the hips. Opposite forces working here. Belly button pulled in the whole time to protect this lower spine. Shake your head out or nod your head if you need to. And change. Inhale, come halfway up. Bring your arms out to that T and then bring it all together to the top of the mat in one movement. Arms down to your side. Let's inhale here together. Exhale. Let that last posture go as we move in triangle. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, step the feet out. Arms out to the T. Spin open on that right heel and just bend at the knee so the knee stacked over the ankle. And I've mentioned this a lot lately in the past few streams. If your stance is not as wide as mine and it's something more like this with the knee slightly bent, no problem. Find the stance that works for you. And just think of, I like to, with my arms in the T, take my left hand on the hip of that straight left leg and just remind it to sink down, let gravity lower it down. It brings my whole body down. Tick-tock the arms at 6 and 12. And work your way into the triangle that works for you. And change. Inhale, arms up. Turn those toes back towards the front of the room. And now our left toes will go out to the side. Find the stance that works for you. With my arms in that T, I'm going to do it on this side too. Just check in with that hip on this straight leg and remind it to sink down. That brings my whole posture lower. Knee is stacked over ankle. Stay right here if you want, with whatever distance is happening between your legs, or tick-tock the arms, 6 and 12. And then finally, if you want to adjust, moving that bottom arm down towards your knee, let gravity pull the side body down on the straight leg. Finally, you can turn up and look at that raised right hand. And change. Inhale, arms to the T. Step everything together at the top of the mat. Exhale, arms down. Take a breath. Let that pose go, and we'll head into another. Inhale, arms up. This time, our hands are in prayer. So cross one thumb over the other. I'm going to go with the awkward cross, thumb on top, then normal. Hands in prayer. Step your feet out now about 3 feet apart or so, not as wide as that last stance. And just shift on your feet so that everything turns to the side of the room. You may need to make some adjustments with your feet so that they are looking like they're on parallel train tracks with that back heel down and the toes out at a 45-degree angle or so. So my back foot is the only thing not square to the front of the room right now. So find your feet stance, your legs apart, and then micro bend the front right knee. And as you fold, pull the belly in, suck it in, suck it in, suck it in. Bend the knee as much as you need to come down, and let the blades of your pinkies rest on the mat, or separate your hands and frame your front foot. For a separate leg standing head to knee. If you want to take head to knee, tuck the chin and bend that front knee as much as you need to get your forehead to the knee. And change. Inhale up with arms framing your ears. Rotate everything around to the other side of the room. Again, make the foot adjustments so that your feet are on parallel train tracks with one another. The right foot, the back foot now is the only one not square with the rest of your body. Pull that belly button in, arms are overhead, prayer grip, and pull the belly in. Continue to pull it in as you bend over that front knee. Micro bend at the knee, micro bend or big bend, whatever you need to do to get over that front leg. Let your hands come down and meet the ground. Stay in prayer or separate your hands if you need to for balance. The more you pull the belly in, the more you're able to round that lower back down. Final expression is tucking the chin, getting forehead to knee. Press into the mat with the blades of your pinkies, if you're still in prayer hands, to open at the armpits as well. And change. Inhale, come up, use your core strength. Bring everything together at the top of the mat and exhale, arms down. Take a breath, let that go, and we'll move into center for tree. So for tree here, you're going to stand and balance on that left strong foot. Separate the toes and really get your foundation. Windshield wiper, the right knee open and shut. That really opens the hips up. And you can stay here if you're working on balance. Just stay high on your toes on this side with the knee as open as you can get it. Otherwise, bring it all the way out towards the side and work on where you want that foot to rest against the standing leg. For the Bikram tree, we bring it all the way up to the hip crease and catch it in the other hand. Let it rest in the hip crease. And if you bend slightly on the left leg, it creates a bit of a shelf at the hip crease and your foot can rest there. which allows you to balance and bring both hands up. So find your tree. Take a deep breath here and just be mindful of the breath we have in common with all beings, and that all human beings are equally deserving to take these deep breaths without fear. Beautiful. Let's let that go. Bring the right foot down and walk it out if you need to. That's asking a lot, especially the Bikram version really opens up at the ankle, the knee, the hip. Stand firmly on that right foot now as we windshield wiper the left open. And again, stay just on tiptoes here on the left if you want to work on balancing like this and letting your hips open enough to bring the knee out. If you go further, find that place where you want your feet to connect with the strong standing leg. And headed into the Bikram tree again. Plant that blade of the foot in the hip crease, and then slight bend of the right standing knee. If I can demonstrate this, I don't know if I can today. We'll create a bit of a shelf your foot can rest in that allows both hands to come up. Okay, let's pause a moment here and take a nice breath. Okay, let that go. Beautiful standing series this morning. Bow down to yourself for just a moment. Acknowledge the hard work you did standing on the floor, and then lie down on your back, and we'll move to floor poses. Lay down on your back on the mat for Shavasana. I'm going to take a sip of water. This is a good time to do the same if you want. In Shavasana, just let go of everything that came before you just now in your standing series. It's such a good practice to let go what has been in the past, to not hold it too, not cling to it, hold it too heavily, and just be in the current moment, not worried too much about what's to come. So use this time for that. And if your mind needs to go somewhere to notice something, just notice the breath and the way that you make the adjustments you need to become comfortable in Shavasana here. Let's move into wind removing pose, right side. So right knee up towards the chest. Bring it up and hang on to it somewhere with your hands, either at the knee or slide down the calf. And bring that knee towards the chest and then more towards the armpits, but slides down on the side ribs at a bit of an angle. That should create some opening on the left side and activate that left straight leg like it's standing, like you're standing on the one leg there. So flex the feet, flex the glutes, feel that opening on the left front side as you pinch down on the right hip crease by pulling that knee up towards your armpit. And change. Let the right leg come down, left knee comes up. And we'll have the opposite effect going now on this side. So find a comfortable grip. Hands on your knee or shin. Pull it towards your chest and then down to the side. This really is like pulling the pelvis in opposite directions. Pulling the knee in. Now flex that right standing leg, flex the foot, the calf, the glutes. Pull, feel the pinch in the left hip crease, the opening in the right, and change. Let it go. Inhale, both knees up. You can rock and roll a bit here with your knees to your chest, both knees to chest. Pull them in, tuck them in towards your chest. You can lift the head and chin to really squeeze into a ball, and with chin still connected as much as you can to the chest, lower the back of your head so that it's on the mat. Lengthen the spine in the back of your neck. And now just rest and think of everything, your spine from the tip top of your neck to the bottom of your tailbone in one line, pressing down on the mat underneath you. Squeeze in at the legs, change, let both legs come down. Palms open towards the ceiling for Shavasana, let the shoulders roll open, sink heavy into the mat. Shoulder blades, hips heavy on the mat. Breathe here. And we'll prepare now for a yoga sit up. Inhale, arms overhead. Hook the fingers. Exhale, sit up. 2 audible breaths. Flex and touch the toes as you come around to sit up. Gives your hamstrings a nice stretch. And turn around on your belly for cobra. So on your belly here, palms under shoulders. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Keep the elbows tucked in towards the middle of your body. Elbows tucked in. Rest on your chin. Zip up your cobra tail. That is the inside of your feet connecting your ankles, calves. Zip it all up, all the way up to your inner thighs. Exhale to prepare. Let out all that air. Inhale. Begin to slowly peel your upper body off the mat. Nice steady gaze right in front of you. No need to look up towards the ceiling or any higher than just your eye level right here with a neutral chin. Lift with those lower back muscles. If that means you need to bring your hands off the mat, go for it. Lift, keep that cobra tail strong. Lift a little higher on an inhale and exhale. Drop the left cheek to the mat, belly down, Shavasana. Palms up towards the ceiling. Take a breath here. Moving into half locust, flip the palms so that they're down on the mat, and then rock back and forth, side to side on the hips to bring the palms underneath your body like you're bumping a volleyball, palms down, pinkies in towards one another. Put your chin on the mat, leave it here to protect your neck. Chin on the mat. Hands pressed in under your body into the mat, and then lift that right leg. Right leg lifts. Turn on the glute of the right side to lift the leg. Lengthen it like someone's pulling the leg behind you, and lift once more. You'll feel your right hip bone really press into your forearm here. Lift, lengthen the right leg only. Change, let it go. Now we do the same with the left. Lift the left leg. Lift, turn the glute on as you lift. Lengthen, feel someone pull it behind you, and lift once more. Glutes are turned on. Left hip bone is now pressing into the left forearm. And change. Now tuck your chin so that your mouth is on the mat. Really kiss the mat and leave your mouth there to protect your neck. Scoot your fingertips towards the knees as much as you can. Press really firmly into the mat with the palms of your hands as you lift both legs off the mat together. And change. Let it go. Belly down Shavasana, right cheek on the mat. Palms flip up towards the ceiling. Nice deep breath here. And moving into full locust, bring those arms out like airplane wings so your hands come straight out from your shoulders. Zip up your cobra tail once more. Exhale all the air out. Inhale, press your pelvis into the mat as you lift everything else off the mat. Pelvis presses into the mat, chest lifts. Try to get those ribs off the mat, lifting the chest, lifting the back legs. Keep legs straight and together as much as possible. Soar here, lift the chest, lift the legs, and change. Bring it all down for belly down Shavasana, left cheek on the mat. Nice deep breath. And all that prep work we just did leads us to floor bow. So bend at the knees if it feels good to loosen the hips, but first to prepare, just rock them side to side here at the knee. You're gonna bend at the knee, keep knees together, and if you don't have the grip yet, just work on being comfortable here on the floor with your belly pressing and your hips pressing into the mat as you lift the upper body. If you move on to a grip, find those feet with your hands, bring the knees together to prepare. Exhale all the air out. Inhale, kick back into those hands. Lift everything off the mat once more. You'll come to your pelvis or hip bones and just rock back and forth a bit, eventually landing on your upper belly so that even your hips now are free to come off the mat. As you kick in your hands and think of making the shape of a teardrop with your hands and feet coming down from the ceiling. And change. Lower the knees, hands down, right cheek down, belly down, Shavasana. Okay, let's move into a yoga push-up. So bring the hands under the shoulders like we were before for Cobra. Flip the toes or stay on your knees and just push yourself up nice and strong, straight board. Pull the belly in and you push up into plank. That'll help you be able to drop your knees here and just walk those knees forward to the front of your mat for fixed fern. If you need to grab a block, a blanket, or a pillow, put them between your feet. As you fan your feet open, knees down to the ground, feet open, and then just sit back. Let your hips come down between your feet. If you cannot comfortably bring your tailbone down to the ground, have something underneath your bottom there so that you're making some kind of connection. Nice opener here. In the front of the ankles might be a little too nice. So if you need to have a towel or blanket underneath the ankles for comfort. We'll stay right here, take a breath. If you like to move it even more, grab those heels with your hands and gently bring yourself back onto elbows. Rest comfortably here, knees may come apart a bit, no problem. Finally, we can come down all the way to your back if it's comfortable. This is also hero's pose in other yoga. It's fixed fern in the Bikram series. Just take a breath wherever you are. I'm feeling it most in my ankles right now. Feels like a good opener. And anywhere that you are, fire up the belly to come out of it. Flip back over onto your hands and knees and then let yourself get into Shavasana. On your back, lie down. Let everything be heavy. Nice deep breath. On your next inhale, we're going to energize again by bringing arms overhead, hook the fingers, flex the toes. Exhale, sit up. Touch the toes. Come around to your back of your mat now for half tortoise. I just happen to move back towards my water, so I'm going to take a drink. Let's inhale, arms overhead in that same prayer position we had earlier. So arms are overhead, biceps framing the ears, hands in prayer, cross one thumb in front of the other. And remember what I said about inhaling arms up can cause us to go into a back bend. So check that belly, pull it in, keep it strong and straight, and use it being turned on to fold over your legs. The goal here is for forehead or nose to touch the mat before the blades of your pinkies. Once you do meet the mat with your pinkies, press them in, and that activation will lift your forearms off the mat and open up the armpits. Then just sink back on your heels with your hips. Breathe here. On your next inhale, tighten up the core, inhale yourself up all the way, and exhale, arms down. Turn around and lie down on your back for Shavasana. Hips go heavy. It's a real skill to develop, really, in Shavasana to just go as heavy and limp as you can, as quickly as possible. And enjoy one deep breath, really grounding and cooling. And then we energize and fire up again by inhaling, arms overhead, hooking thumbs. Exhale, sit up, touch the toes, flip it around, come back to the top of your mat on your knees. Knees are parallel under hips. Heels and feet are straight behind knees. I have my block here, so I'm going to grab it and put it in between my inner thighs. And that gripping of the block with the inner thighs really turns them on and stabilizes both the hips and the knees. So breathe, stay right here if you'd like. Otherwise, you're going to roll those shoulders up and back and put your hands in some imaginary back pockets. Bring the elbows together. Don't let the elbows flare out. Bring them together. Bring the belly in, and you see automatically when I bring the belly in, my chest is lifted. Keep that lift going as you lift the chest and look up. Push the hips forward. Inhale is lifting the chest. Exhale, push the hips forward. And keep a lift going in this back body, even as you do this back bend down. You can let the head and neck hang if it's comfortable, with hips still pushing forward, chest lifted. I'll reach back and find my heels. If you are not here yet, just back off to wherever you are and work on the breath, guiding those movements. To come out of it, turn the belly on as you lift yourself out safely. Sink back for a moment if you need to on your heels. Those can cause some dizziness. And then turn around and lay down on your backs for Shavasana. Breathe here. Let go of what's come. And now we move into the present moment, inhaling, arms overhead. Exhale, sit up. Touch the toes, turn around, come back to the back of the mat for rabbit. Begin rabbit by sitting back on your heels. You can have a blanket underneath you or a towel. Makes it more comfortable. Find your heels with your fingers and just give them a light check-in. We're going to use that grip in a moment. So now we will tuck the chin with an exhale. You can audibly exhale that air out as you tuck the chin and see your belly button come in. Suck the belly button towards the spine and round, starting with the upper spine at the neck. Round down over your knees. Forehead may touch the knees, crown of the head to the floor. Find that grip on your heels with your hands and lift the hips towards the ceiling. Try to keep shoulders pulled away from the ears. So have that grip, but shoulders away from the ears. Lift the hips. Complete spine rounding here. Belly button pulled in. Crown of the head on the mat. And change. Come on out of it safely, bringing your chin up last. Lie down on your mat for Shavasana. Nice deep breath here. Overhead. Exhale, sit up. Touch the toes. And come around to the front of your mat. Face the front, sitting evenly on your hip bones and your sit bones for separate leg stretching. So let's begin with right foot out. Heel towards the corner of the mat. Left foot tucked in. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist. Push that air out. As you come over that right straight leg, feel a side body stretch in the left. Pull the belly in. That'll help you fold over that leg and bend the knee as much as you need. Try to get chest to knee if you can, and you can bend the knee as much as you need. So that could look like this, right? You can start here with knee really bent and then slowly work on bringing that heel out to straighten it. Okay, change. Bring the right knee in now. Just let it rest comfortably. Think about how gravity will bring it down, but don't force it. Don't push it down, and bring the left leg out now. Maybe try to have that heel go to the corner of your mat. Make adjustments you need so that you're sitting equally on your sit bones. We inhale and find length. Exhale, twist. Again, bend the knee as much as you need as you twist and try to lead with your chest to meet, chest to knee. So that can look like this. Feel that stretch along the right side body. And if you're here and your knee is super bent and you're resting your chest on it, just think about bringing the heel slowly a little bit at a time to eventually get that leg straightened. The more you suck in the belly, the more you open up your lower back. So take your stretch here. Find what works for you. And change. Inhale, come up. Bring both legs straight out. Now move the tissue, sit equally on your sit bones. Legs straight out and toes flexed back towards your face. If you want to stay right here, this can be a really nice hamstring stretch for some people, just right here. If you want to take it further, inhale out of the waist. Notice the hip crease. You can really, it's very exaggerated right now the way you're sitting. Fold over the hip crease as you lead with the chest. Always bend the knees as much as you need. And once you've connected somewhere along your legs, got some kind of bind, chest is connected to upper thighs, you can let the head and neck go last. Spine stays straight. Take a nice deep breath and just notice on an inhale that you lengthen in the chest, maybe lengthen in the legs. Exhale, gravity just brings you down. You can also just make it more active by inhaling yourself up, exhaling yourself back down. Okay, final spinal time. So you can keep the left leg straight if you need to. If it works for you to bend and fold at that knee and tuck the left leg under the right, go for it. Cross the right leg over the left. Your knees be in one line here. And your right leg pushes into the mat. That'll create an opening that you'll feel along the outside of your right hip. Take a grip onto your knee or maybe your entire leg with your forearm and inhale, find length. Exhale, twist over that right leg. Relax the neck by shaking your head and maybe even drop your chin a bit. Think of getting that chin to the shoulder, just headed in that direction. We'll keep the neck long and relaxed. Change, let's switch sides. You can bring both legs out to re-straighten here, sit equally on those sit bones, and then cross the left over the right. So if you had to keep your leg straight on the other side, the bottom leg, the right leg now can stay straight, or each side is different. Maybe you can fold it underneath on one side and not the other. So find the twist that works for your legs. Think of pressing that left foot into the mat. Inhale, find length. Exhale, fold over, twist over to the other side. Some kind of bind happening with your right arm along your left leg. And again, just notice your neck on this side as well, like we did the other. So shake it out. You can let the chin drop towards the shoulder. Press that right foot into the mat. And change. Untwist yourself. Take a drink of water if you want. And we'll head into our final posture, breath of fire, in a seated, comfortable position. Traditionally, we sit back, hips over heels. If it's bothering your heels or your ankles to do that, put a blanket or towel underneath them, or just sit crisscross applesauce or any way that's comfortable for sitting, being able to relax as we work on breath. So remember your warm up here. We're exhaling air out and snapping the belly in. Nice audible exhale. And the belly snaps in as we push the air out. So just practice that a few times. Warm up. When you're ready to begin, let the hands fall into a comfortable position. That really will make sure that your shoulders are relaxed away from your ears. We'll inhale and exhale one time here together, just normal breathing. Inhale, exhale. Let all the air out on the exhale. As soon as you think you're done, squeeze a little more out from the pit of your belly. Inhale halfway and begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it all go. Great work. We have 2 minutes here that we're going to go use for Shavasana. So please join me for what I consider the most important part of this practice, lying down for Shavasana these last 2 minutes, letting go of what you've just done, what you've asked your body to do, becoming very heavy on the mat, creating closure, the routine and ritual of closure for yourself after this practice. So I'll give us 2 minutes. You don't need to time it. I will pay attention to time and tell you when to come out. Just lay back comfortably, close your eyes. Palms towards the ceiling. Just breathe here. I'm sure all of us have a lot on our minds, both abstract and concrete things that are coming up on our list of things to do for the day and our list of concerns that we have. Acknowledge those things, but now is not the time to ruminate over them. That time will come. They're all going to be there waiting for us when these 2 minutes are up. Just breathe. You did a really great thing for yourself by coming to the mat today. And you did a great thing for other people in your life by coming to the mat today. Okay, my fellow yogis, it is time. If you'd like to come out with me, although if you do have time to stay there on your mat, go ahead. Come out at your own will here, but if you're ready with me, just blink open the eyes to begin and move those arms and legs. Rock back side to side on the hips if you like. Give yourself a little lower back massage. Take a nice deep good morning stretch if you want by raising arms overhead and lengthening out from your fingers to toes. Whatever you need to do to make any last adjustments and wiggles and movement. as you seal your practice. So we'll just come into a seated position here. I just don't feel like I have a lot of words today. So I just, as always, want to say namaste. The light and student and teacher in me sees, acknowledges, honors the light, student, and teacher in every human being. Namaste. I'll be back Friday morning for Vinyasa Yoga. Stay strong for the rest of the week. Spread namaste.